facilitators are volunteers. Everyone's a volunteer except we've got one paid employee, and that's Sheena Smith. And she's here hosting today. But I'll be your co-host and your facilitator. New Knowledge Adventures is just what it talks about is continuing the education of people 50 and over. It is, it also is a good place to meet people. Now, because we're just on Zoom, it's a little bit harder, but a lot, once we go back to in-person classes, then you're gonna meet a lot of new friends, and it's a way to keep your mind going. The only thing that we ask is that you use proper words, and that you don't insult anyone, please, and proper dress, which means that you probably should have clothes on. I don't need to often say that, but I just need to tell you that you need to, we don't want anybody coming without their shirts on or anything like that. These classes are recorded, and this one will be recorded. And what will happen is that then the class will be offered on YouTube, and it will be a New Knowledge Adventure. And so all the classes are on YouTube. So if you wanted to share them with friends, if you wanted to rewatch them or whatever. Today we have Lisa teaching the second class, and hers is going to be a really interesting class. And Kathy said that she mentioned sewing, and that's going to be a great thing for this. There is some sewing tips that Lisa has. Lisa is an educator and former principal in California, and she has been a volunteer for New Knowledge Adventures for as long as I have, 6 years and counting. And she really is, some of the things she makes, I have been gifted a lot of the things. Some of the things that she makes for being more eco-friendly have been absolutely wonderful. I'm sure that you are really, really going to enjoy her presentation. Okay, Lisa, it's all up to you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am going to do a little bit of screen sharing here. Thank you for being with us today. And I am excited to share some ideas with you. So I hope everyone can see my PowerPoint, and I would just like to say welcome and thank you for being with us. I know if you're like me, you want to do your part to help conserve our resources and to reduce what goes into landfills. And one of the most important ways that we can reduce that we can conserve is by reducing waste. And today I'm going to discuss ideas that help reduce and eliminate waste. And the focus will be on sewing. And I'm trying to figure out how to not see all the people here because it's kind of in the way of my PowerPoint. So please just bear with me for a minute. I have to move the group around. So today, the purpose of today's presentation is to inspire you. And I hope it inspires you to sew eco-friendly and reusable items that will help reduce or eliminate material that ends up in our landfills. These eco-friendly items are useful in our daily lives. They're super fun to make and to give as gifts. So why do we need to reduce waste? Well, one of the most important reasons to reduce waste is to conserve space in our landfills and reduce the need to build more. Landfills take up valuable space, but they're also a source of air and water pollution. By reducing our waste, we're also conserving our precious resources. Last week, Debbie Jensen provided a wealth of information in her class on ways to reduce waste. I hope you were able to attend that class, but if not, it will be available on YouTube. And all you have to do is get on YouTube and then search for NKA Idaho. And all of the classes that we have presented will be available there. So let's take some action. Today, I'm going to talk about 6 projects. And not to be concerned, this presentation will be less than an hour, but I'm just giving you an overview of 6 easy to sew and very eco-friendly projects. During the presentation, I'm going to introduce you to some videos that walk you through these projects step by step. But in the interest of time, I'm just going to show you small segments of the video. But they'll still give you an idea of how easy these are to make. The links to the videos will be available to you, and I'll give you the details later on. Before we begin, I want to tell you a little bit about an article that addresses why we must reduce or eliminate the use of plastic bags. My first project is going to be about making a very super quick and easy and inexpensive but sturdy tote bag. As I was doing my research, I came across an article on the website for Center for Biological Diversity. And the article is entitled 10 Facts About Single-Use Plastic Bags. Regardless of the browser that you use, whether you use Safari or Google or Firefox, all you have to do is do a search about 10 facts about single-use plastic bags, and a very interesting article will pop up. One of the facts that I learned astounded me, seriously astounded me, and that is that it takes 1,000 years for a plastic bag to decompose in a landfill. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe my eyes were deceiving me. Imagine that, 1,000 years. And that's just plastic bags. You can imagine what some other more heavy plastics take. Please read that article if you're interested. So our first project is a dollar store tote bag. I've made several of these. They're great for shopping and travel. They eliminate using plastic bags, and you can make it in 10 minutes. Seriously, 10 minutes, and for less than $3. So I explained why I'm starting with this project. Many states are proactive about the use of plastic bags. If you travel to California or Oregon, stores no longer provide free plastic bags. Idaho has not reached that point yet, but I hope that we will in the future. And if there's one small thing that we can do, it's to just take the initiative that when we go to the market, we do not use plastic bags or take the plastic bags. So let me show you just a snippet of this video.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim Six Fix, and I'm so excited today to show you how to make this simple summer tote bag out of nothing more than $2 store placemats. Come on, it's easy. I'll show you. The supplies you need for this project are 2 woven dollar store placemats with finished edges and 2 26-inch lengths of 1-inch wide nylon webbing. Okay, let's get started. Line your 2 placemats up on top of each other with the right sides together. Make sure at least one of the long sides is lined up evenly. If your placemats aren't square or are slightly different sizes, you only need to have one of the edges lined up square. Next, sew a straight line down one of the short ends of the bag.
I'm not going to show any more of the video. It's a very short video. It's actually only 4 minutes. Very, very simple presentation and easy to follow. And as I said, I have used this technique several times. Here's an example of my dollar store tote bags. And I've got one here that I can actually show later. So I use $2 placemats, and it truly is one of the easiest I've ever made. If you add the cost of the strapping, you're still under $3, but you can also make straps from leftover fabric for much less. And here's an idea to spread the wealth. I have made this dollar store tote bag and filled it with all the fixings for a pasta dinner, including a bottle of wine. And it was a hit. And the tote bag is now being used over and over again. So it's so easy, inexpensive, and fun to make and give. The second project is a straw and utensil pouch. And I guess for about the last year, I've been carrying an aluminum straw, several actually, a spork, and my chopsticks. And they're in a little pouch in my purse. And if I go somewhere and I get a food or a snack, out it comes. And it really is great to have because you're eliminating the need for plastic straws and utensils or items that end up in landfills. And I have kind of a little phobia about drinking water in restaurants. And sometimes a server will bring you your glass of water and they handle the glass by the rim while they put it down. And I seriously do not want to put my lips on the rim of that glass if they presented it to me that way. So I always like to use a straw for that reason. Let me show you a little snippet of a video here. So moving right along, I have made many of these and like to give them away. I use a slightly different version, but if you look at these, they're really nothing more than a little pencil pouch that just has to be big enough to accommodate what you want to put in it. Mine contain, as I said, stainless steel straws, chopsticks, and a spork. But the video that I am kind of excited about is one that I have actually made this version, and it has 2 zipper compartments. And I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation, but I'd say that all of these projects that I'm reviewing today are very user-friendly. You don't have to be an expert sewer to do these, even at a beginner level. They're quite easy to do. Let's look at a little snippet of this video.
Hey guys, and welcome back for another tutorial. Today I want to show you guys how to make this really cute double zipper pouch. So this is really great for stationery or even for makeup, but I actually made this for a specific reason, and that is for the reusable straws. So here are the ones that I have. So in this world, of course, we are getting away from disposable straws. A lot of restaurants are actually banning them completely. I know that the zoos also have banned straws. So if you have kids, or especially if you, I know when I go to the zoo and I want to drink from there, they will give you a big cup and then it's full of ice and of course no straw. So I figured it would be nice to have a little pouch for my straws. But
so what I like about this version for myself is that I have a section for clean utensils, and then the other section is for used, and the other section I lined in a waterproof fabric like laminated cotton or something along those lines, and so they're super easy to find waterproof fabrics. Here are versions of what I made. My favorite is on the right, the 2 zipper compartments. And then the one on the left is just a simple pouch that's lined. I've also made them unlined. And you can really put your own twist on these. Moving right along, we're going to go to project number 3, which is origami bags. These bags look complicated, but I promise you they are one of the simplest projects to make. If you go to Fred Meyer for a gift bag, you'll pay $3 or $4 or maybe more. And of course, if you go to the dollar store, you'll pay less. But many of these bags end up in the landfill either right away or after a few uses. Why not place your gift in a unique fabric bag and make a second gift out of the wrap? It's very easy and costs about the same as a gift bag made of paper and plastic. So for these bags that I've made, I use 2 fat quarters. And if you're a quilter, you know that a fat quarter is 18 by 22 inches. The majority of the medium-sized bags are used by cutting a 15.5-inch square. And I'm going to show you just a little bit of the video. This is, there are quite a few videos out there about how to make these origami bags, but I find that this is my favorite because she's a wonderful teacher and very clear. Let's watch just a couple of minutes of this video.
Hey everyone, I'm Julie from the Crafty Quilter, and today I am super excited to show you how to make these quick and easy fabric origami bags. You're gonna love it. The supplies that you'll need to make one bag is 2 fabric squares that are cut to 15.5 inches, some coordinating thread, and some ribbon that is 3/8 of an inch wide or 1/4 inch wide. You'll need about 1.5 yards. I recommend that you starch your fabric and press it really well before you get started. It's going to help you to control your piece as we work with it. And
I want to mention that I have never starched my fabric. If you use a good quality cotton, you really can skip this step. But the process really involves just sewing the 2 pieces of fabric right sides together, leaving a gap so that you can turn it, top stitch, fold, and sew a few additional seams. And voila, you are going to have the cutest little bag, the most unique little bag. And I promise
so I'm going to press
you,
this, and then I'm going to do the stitching for the casing.
this is
For
what they look like.
this seam,
So moving right along, I'm going to tell you that when I make these bags, I spend about $2. 2 fat quarters at Walmart are $2. So these are my examples that I still have handy here. I've given a lot away. For example, on the right, you see a little bag with crayons. I created that one for my grandson and put little art supplies. The little teeny weeny bag is a 10 by 10 square that is turns out to be perfect for jewelry. And as I said, they are great for gift giving. And then the recipient has a really neat bag that they can use for other things, maybe to play it forward and give it, put a gift for someone else inside. I also use them for traveling. I like to organize some of the things I take when I travel inside these little bags, because the way that you create the drawstring really keeps it cinched tight. So it's a great little bag. Next is a car trash bag. And there's lots of ways to make these reusable trash bags, but my favorite is to make them with an adjustable strap. And this lets you hang it from a gear shift knob or on the back of one of your seats. And I tend to use oilcloth or laminated cotton. In the video, you're going to see, I believe she uses cotton, and she also uses an interface, which I do not do. I just use oilcloth or laminated cotton, and I don't find that I need to interface them at all. But if you do make yours out of cotton, you can certainly add an interface. These are great because in the past, I've always had a plastic bag to use as a trash bag. And then when it gets stuff inside, I take it and throw it in the trash and put a clean one on there. Well, you know, now I don't have to do that. So one more way to keep plastic out of the landfill. These you can make for about $5. However, if you go on Etsy, they sell them for $25 or $30, but they're so much more inexpensive to make yourself. Let's see just a snippet of the video. One of the things I love about these YouTube videos is you can pause, you can rewind, and you can watch the parts you need to over and over again. And I happen to be a visual learner. I learn by seeing and doing. So these videos to me are such a great resource, and I definitely encourage you to explore them if you have not already done so. Here are examples of two that I happen to have made. That one is in my husband's car and one is in mine. I used oilcloth on the left and laminated cotton on the right. And these work beautifully. I have little plastic snaps to make them very adjustable. I've made a trash bag for my sister, my husband, myself, my daughters. Everyone agrees they're very useful. Moving right along, my next project is a linen bread bag. The French have used linen bread bags for centuries because they know they work well to keep bread fresher. Linen is recommended because it's a natural fabric that breathes and reduces mold. I take my linen bread bag with me when I go to the bakery. Like I actually go to Gaston's or one of those. But if I buy my bread at Fred Meyer, it goes into the linen bread bag when I get home. And it really does keep the bread fresh much, much longer. And I think there really isn't a trick to making these. These are a little bit pricier just because linen, if you buy quality linen, it can be a little expensive, but you can make quite a few bread bags out of a yard of high quality linen. But you can make these for about $5, but they're washable, freezable. You can use them over and over and over again. And one of the things, here's the example of the one that I made. Here's the gift idea. Give a linen bread bag with a loaf of artisan bread as a hostess gift. And I guarantee you it will get used over and over again. So you can, for this project, you can essentially use any pattern for a cinched bag, and you really just any kind of drawstring pouch will work. I happen to use French seams because linen could be kind of be ravelly a little bit. So there are videos out there as well that show you step by step how to make French seams, but they're super easy to make. And on my version of my bread bag, I put the casing on the outside. It's just really a strip of fabric sewn on top that holds the cord, the drawstring. So linen bread bag, no more using plastic to keep your bread fresh. And we've talked a lot about reusing what we have. And if you sew, you probably have, like I do, a bin of scrap fabric. And for some reason, I just can't bear to toss them out. But I discovered something really fun to make. And I've had, my sister the other day said, you know, of all the stuff you've made for me and given me, my very favorite are the cord keepers. So if you sew, you likely have lots of fabric scraps. And if you use any kind of technology, you likely have cords that need organizing, especially if you're traveling. So this is really a great idea. They literally cost just pennies, because especially if you're using your scrap fabric. Here's another little thing that I've done with these. I found that you can actually use them as little napkin rings. So if you make a set of napkins and placemats as a gift, you can make these to be little napkin rings, but they really are cord keepers. Super easy and fun to do, and they take no time whatsoever. So here are some of my examples. I've used them for just about everything that has a cord. And one easy template that you can use is a 3x5 index card. And you cut your materials, sew right sides together, leave a gap for opening, turn over, top stitch. I also sometimes like to round the corners. That makes them, I think, a little bit easier to, they look better, I think, with the little rounded corners. And there you go. You can Velcro or add snaps. I happen to use snaps because I just have a set of cam snaps, but you can use Velcro on these as well. So tips for eco-friendly sewing. Use what you have whenever you can. That's, the whole idea of conserving. Visit a reuse market or thrift shops for fabric. The North End organic nursery has a very nice reused market upstairs. It's open 3 days a week on, I believe it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, possibly, but you can call and find out. And I have found some great bargains, seriously, like a yard of fabric that someone didn't want for 75 cents or $1. Watch videos or tutorials. I mentioned before, these are so readily available out there, and it seems like there have been just a massive amount of tutorials during the pandemic year. I have made probably 6 or 8 different versions of face masks just because they keep improving and people share, and it's wonderful and free. Just go out there and search for them. And you can give them as gifts. What a great thing to make them. It's so much fun, keeps you busy, but people really do enjoy receiving these. So there are many ways that we can cut the plastic, and I've given you just a few ideas here. So if you're interested in getting these links that I previewed today, I can email you a Word document. I'll be giving you my email in just a minute. And when you get that document and open it, all you have to do is click on the link and it will take you directly to the website. You don't need to do any typing. But if for some reason, depending on what your technology setup is, if for some reason the links don't work, then all you have to do is copy and paste the link into whatever browser you use. The 3 R's for a healthier planet: reduce, reuse, recycle. So in a minute, I haven't forgotten about my email. I'll be giving that to you. But if you stay with me for a bit, I would like to do a 1-minute demonstration of how easily you can make a tote bag that doesn't involve sewing. That's right, does not involve sewing. It involves furoshiki. Fudoshiki has been used for thousands of years in Japan. A furoshiki is a square-shaped Japanese traditional wrapping cloth that is eco-friendly and mostly used for wrapping gifts or carrying goods. But it also refers, furoshiki also refers to the technique of wrapping items using cloth and fabric instead of wrapping paper. In Japan, when the giver wraps the gift in furoshiki, then it is expected that that furoshiki will be reused again. And I carry a furoshiki cloth in my bag, and depending, you can adjust the size, but I'm going to demonstrate it in a minute. But on October 21st, a week from today, Debbie Jensen is doing another eco-friendly tip class, and she is going to cover some additional furoshiki techniques. So let me just move on to my email, and then I'm going to take questions, and then I will show you how quick you can do a furoshiki tote bag. So my email is lartiga@gmail.com. Just shoot me a quick email that you would like the video links, and I will email them to you right away. So with that, that is the end of the PowerPoint presentation, but I'd like to see if there are any questions. Debbie, do we have any questions in the chat box?
But you do have midway through, someone really, well, I can't remember who it was. Oh, Gypsy. She just thought that these projects were so wonderful, clever, and cute. So you got all of that even before you finished your presentation. But there haven't been any questions.
Okay, so let me demonstrate Fudoshiki. Here is my Fudoshiki cloth. It is approximately 42 by 42 inches. And I did hem it because I'm using cotton that can fray. And so I hemmed it just using the same technique as you would use for hemming a napkin or any other item. So it's a square. And to make a Fudoshiki tote bag, you're gonna take your square and create a triangle, right sides together. You know, I remember that when my daughters were students in high school, their host families sent some beautiful square cloths home with them, and I had no idea that they were Fudoshiki at the time. Now I know. So notice I'm knotting, creating a knot on the two ends. Here's what it looks like. The two ends knotted, and no, not on this end. Here's your triangle knotted. I hope everyone can see that pretty well. Now I am going to turn the bag right side out. And I'm going to create a handle by knotting, creating another knot here. And I have a Fudoshiki tote bag. Let me just show you how roomy this is. I have here my puzzle from the upcoming wooden puzzle class. It's next Wednesday. And I'm going to just put it in my tote bag. And I still have tons of room in here. It's just so great. You can use a smaller Fudoshiki square to wrap a gift. You can do so many things with this, and it's so easy to carry. Here it is. I've even put my huge backpack in my Fudoshiki bag. So let me show you one other. This is a Fudoshiki. I paid 75 cents for this cloth at the reuse store. And here I made a little smaller Fudoshiki tote bag using these wooden handles that I happen to have. Very simple and easy, and there's all kinds of videos out there to do that. Here's an origami bag that I've made. My linen bread bag with bread inside. My car garbage bag with snaps, and I made them adjustable so I can put them in various areas of my car. And oodles of these cord keepers. You can see how easy I use them for so many things. I even keep my extra battery pack here with its little charging cord. And my handy dandy straw and utensil pouch lined with cotton for the clean. And lined with a waterproof ripcord fabric for the dirty. And this one's just a regular lined here's an unlined. Oh, and my dollar store tote bag. Very roomy, very easy. These are such easy to make. Anyway, thank you so much for attending today. And I think we are just about finished. I knew my presentation would not be very lengthy, but I hope that you are inspired to try some of these ideas. You know, I do want to say that if you don't sew, you can always go to Etsy and all these things appear there. Different people make them and sell them. But I encourage you to use what you have at home and make them yourself. Any questions?
No, Lisa, you have, but you do have another comment about when you buy bread.
Yes.
Oh, you've got a couple. When you buy bread, the paper that's on the bread, to use that to cover a mum container, and then just use some string or something to put around it, but that you can always use that paper again. And
Yes.
you have another thing that love the ideas. And let me see. Let's see. I have another lady I follow with the great projects called Whitney Sews. Might want to give her a view. And
Yeah,
then I've actually watched some of Whitney Sews.
I love her videos. I do follow Whitney. I subscribe to her channel and she's awesome.
Yeah. And it says, do you need to sew the tie bags? I mean, do you need to sew the edges of the tie bag, the bags that you tie?
You do not need to sew the edges. If you can use pinking shears. So it really will depend on your fabric. Personally, because I use 100% quilting cotton, I do like to sew the edges, and I just use a hot ruler, fold it over 1/2 inch and then another 1/4 inch from there. And it probably takes me 10 minutes to sew a hem. But if I didn't have time, I could probably just use my pinking shears. The most important thing is to create a square. Now, many furoshiki techniques use scarves. You know, scarves tend to be square. And if you go to the thrift store, you can very frequently find inexpensive, already hemmed scarves. And I would just use those after washing them, and you can create some really adorable wrapping, fudoshiki wrapping techniques with scarves. I've also used scarves for wrapping fudoshiki gifts. So how cool is that? You wrap something with fudoshiki and the person gets a gift and a scarf, or a gift and something that they can carry around and use. And I remember going to the Asian market not too long ago, and I pulled out my fudoshiki while I was in line and knotted it. And the checkout lady was, wow, you have a tote bag. She was really amazed, but it's a lot of fun to use. And something that's been around for 1,000 years, like the linen bread bags. So I hope that answered the question. So you do not have to hem, but just be aware that if the fabric frays, you might want to.
Thank you so much, Lisa. You get kudos for the class. It was very informative, and we'll see you all next week.
Yes, please join us for part 3. It will be a wonderful, informative class, and we hope to see you there. There's also more upcoming classes this week. Please be sure and Google NKA Treasure Valley. You can sign up anytime for our classes. Thank you for joining us today.
Bye-bye, everyone.